What's up guys, this is Ronnie. Welcome back to our channel Total Technology. This is tutorial 111 and today's topic will be a bit different. I'm not going to continue the epoch series or epoch topics. Like I believe the last tutorial was one epoch do or epoch do when, but I got multiple requests that I have to do something on airflow actually. So a lot of guys requested that we'd like to create one DAG or workflow so that we can query our Neo4j database or try to get some results from Neo4j database. Though there is documentation already available for this thing, but like couple of months ago actually I was going through the documentation and I got so many requests that means like when I received for the first time this thing like could you please share some video on airflow and Neo4j integration. I immediately replied that some documentations are there, you guys can follow it, because I believe airflow was created on created by Airbnb, and after that they handed over to Apache for an open source like uh, 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 like open source kind of a project, not kind of, it's a completely open source project. But after that so many students actually requested that the documentation is very good, but there is a small step which is missing, like how to establish the connectivity between airflow and Neo4j. That was missing. So I initially thought that maybe they're not finding properly, cause this can't be possible actually, because airflow and Neo4j both are like working very closely, because I know that there are some projects already happening, and there I saw this things are they're using this documentation. But trust me guys, when I personally tried to do some sort of research based on the documentation, and I found that there is a very small step missing in the airflow provided documentation, and that is something like that how to establish the connectivity. And because of that actually like all those are actually started working or like planning to learn something, and not able to do anything, though they have everything like this Python environment, airflow running, Neo4j database running, but the small step is missing. So probably I'll be going to do the complete thing, but that part is actually very important. So try to like watch carefully, and if you guys having any problem, just to let me know. Okay, so first thing first, there will be multiple steps like setup airflow from Docker Compose. This is the first thing, and that is the main thing. Okay, so we'll set up the airflow using Docker Compose, and after that we'll create multiple volumes and mount. We'll use the env file. We'll add the airflow config, and we also add some backend secret which is going to hold the Neo4j user ID, password, and URI. Okay, so what for that thing, I already have one. Docker compose file ready. Okay, so guys, don't worry about all this information over here. Okay, I'll be going to share this Docker compose file, and definitely you guys will be able to do the same thing. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to let me just close everything. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you. So see that I have created a folder called okay, this is my folder structure. I'll explain this thing very slowly so that you guys will be able to understand. So first of all, create a folder. I have given name like Apache Python tutorial. Okay, and after that just download your docker compose.yaml file. Okay, this is the second thing. So um, let me just open this thing. Okay, and let me create a new slide over here. So detail steps, so I'll write the detail steps so you guys will be able to understand what actually happening. So first of all, create uh, project directory, download docker compose file. Okay, so these two steps is done. These two steps are done. Okay, now next thing will be that just go through the this file like docker compose file. In the volume section, if you see here, there is some information is there, like see. So let me explain you this thing. So whatever is there on the left hand side is your local volume. It means in a local system, and whatever is there on the right hand side on this column, it will be on your target system. So so what is happening here, if you see here, I created a folder called DAGs, and I'll be going to write all my Python codes or workflow inside that, and so that it will be available in this DAGs. Okay, Why I am doing this thing? Because I cannot access Docker machine all the time. I can access, but this is not a good practice. So what I'll do, I write the codes and everything in my local DAX, which I created inside this thing, so that it will be available here. So when I start or spin up the Docker container, it will automatically fetched from their Docker machine. Okay, so that is why I created this folder. Similarly, just for some troubleshooting, the logs will be available inside the Docker. Okay, but I would like to get this thing in my local machine, so that is why I created a folder and I set up again a bidirectional sync. Means here, if you see here, these logs are available here. Okay, here, but I'm getting this from the Docker machine. So similarly, there is plugin, there is input file, there is backend file. So you have to do all these things. You can skip this part. Okay, but to be honest, I would like to do all these things, because this thing is very much important. Plugins is also required. Input file, probably if you want to read something from your local machine, and sorry, if you want to give some input to your workflow. So DAG and workflow is same in Airflow world. So DAG means uh, directed acyclic graph. Okay, and workflow means workflow. Okay, so backend file means this is an important thing. Here actually I'll be going to store our all information related to Neo4j, and this is something like output files, and this is for Airflow folder. Why I'm doing this thing, this just to get the config file. Okay, so this is also important, because apt.airflow will going to contain this airflow.cfg. So if you see here in my config, I got all the details from my uh, Docker machine. So this is the file. Next we'd like to change. So what you have to do, you have to go in this file airflow.cfg. Okay, there you have to find this section called secret, and after that you have to add this thing. Okay, so you have to add this thing, means I want to give my secrets from the backend using local file system. Means my information will be available for any sort of connectivity in this path. Okay, opt airflow backend connection.json. So in this Docker, this is a Docker machine. Okay, and now if you see here, opt workflow backend files is a directory which I already mounted. If you see here, so this is backend file. So backend file is already here, and that backend file is already available here. So I have created a local file in backend folder, backend files directory, and that will be automatically available um, in the Docker machine. Why it will be available? Because let me open this thing. So it will be available in there. Why this is available? Because until this part is already mounted. So second thing will be that we have to add this thing in the secret. Okay, in the airflow.cfg. So let me write this thing. Add the below in airflow.cfg. Okay, so we have to add this thing in the airflow.cfg. So I'm not going to change anything, you guys will be able to understand. Okay, so this is the path, and path will be the Docker machine path, and that path you cannot access directly. For that thing you have to create a directory in your local, and after that you have to mount against this one. Okay, so similarly I did here. If you see here, I have a folder called backend files, and I have everything here, and that will be available here. Okay, so if you see here, so I have created this one. Okay, so in this file, this is I have given a random name, so you can give any name, any ID, connection. This will be the connection ID. Okay, so host is this, login is this, and password is this. Okay, now you will say how this look different. So I'll explain this thing as well. So these things are actually missing. Okay, so that is why you guys are getting some problem. Okay, so if I go here, okay, I think my this database is running. So if you see here, this is my bolt. Okay, so what I'll do now, I will just copy paste this thing here just for doing that. So see, this is my local host, and my Neo4j bolt is running on this here. Okay, but when I spin up the Docker will try to search this localhost and against this 7867. But in my local machine, in my Docker machine, I am not running Neo4j. I am running Neo4j on my host machine, in my local machine. Okay, so that is why you have to give this URL like name like this, like host Docker internal. Means host Docker means my local machine, and internal means the internal IP address that host name, that is called localhost. So that is why you give this thing. If I give this thing localhost, so it will create some error that service not found or something like that. Okay, because it will go and search in the Docker machine itself. But I am running my Neo4j on my host machine, which is my local computer, and my Docker is running inside my local computer. There is a container running. Okay, so that is why you have to give like this thing. So don't worry about that, guys. I'll be going to give this CFG. I will give this a whole directory, so you guys will be able to understand. So what you have to do, you have to create a backend files directory, and inside that you have to create this file. And once this is done, okay, then you have to again go to your config and open this airflow cfg, and you have to add this thing. Okay, so this is the connection file, and so that it will be available. So until this point every configuration is done. Okay, next thing is that to use Neo4j, or to connect airflow with Neo4j, you need some additional Python uh, mm, modular library. So that is called Apache Neo4j provider, but that will be not available in your Docker container. So for that additional requirement, you have to create an environment file inside this directory, in the whole directory Python tutorial, and you have to give this thing. Okay, so let me add this thing. Okay, uh, add the below in the .env file inside project directory. Okay, so until this part everything is completed. Okay, okay, so next thing is that next thing, let me check what else is missing. This is done, this is done, this is done. So next thing is that I'll be going to write a workflow now. Okay, so in the DAG, so my workflow will be available. I said, so I have some sample workflow. So now I'll be going to close this one, close this one, close this one. So I'll be going to create a sample workflow inside my DAG. So let me create. So it will be Neo4j. Let me give a name, Neo4j workflow tutorial. This is the name of the workflow. Okay, that's it. So now I'll be going to write the code for this thing. Okay, so first of all there are two things, as I told you. One is called Neo4j operator and one is called Neo4j hook. Okay, so so see guys, this module is, or library is required, but I'm not going to install this thing on my local machine. Rather than I'll be going to install this in my Docker container. Okay, so that will happen. So once I spin up this Docker compose file, my container using this Docker compose file, that time it will be automatically installed in my Docker container. Okay, so first thing first, I'll be going to write from airflow. Okay, so from airflow I need to import DAGs. Okay, from airflow, what is happening? Okay, I just forgot to give a name to this thing, .py. Okay, so now this will work. From airflow import DAG. Okay, then from date time import date time. Okay, so next thing will be I'll be going to import the Python operator. Neo4j operator. Okay, so from airflow dot providers, after that Neo4j dot operators. Okay, so guys, but one thing I just forgot to say, I'm just writing the code here, so definitely I might I will require this thing. This thing here as well, just for testing my code. But guys, I'm not going to run this thing here. Okay, so just for checking the code syntax and other thing, I definitely need to install this thing here. But installing this thing in locally doesn't make any sense at all for the project or for the use case perspective, because ultimately your DAG will be executed from the Docker container, so you have to install there actually. Okay, so operators, then something called Neo4j, and after that you have to like something like this Neo4j and then operator. Okay, so that is done. Okay, right, so then so let me just create some default arcs, okay, for my workflow. So maybe I can write owner only, nothing else, owner is required, so it will be airflow. So I'm giving default owner workflow. So if you open this docker compose YAML file, you will see that I have only one user created, and that is called airflow. So that is why my owner will be airflow. So guys, I'm not going to cover the airflow concepts over here. So I believe you guys are requesting airflow and Neo4j connectivity or integration use case. So that is why I believe you guys are familiar with airflow, different components of airflow. Okay, so next thing is that I'll be going to create the DAG. Okay, so with DAG and like this. Okay, so maybe I can write DAG ID. So DAG ID should be the workflow ID, and you try to give same name actually. So it should be Neo4j underscore workflow uh, underscore Neo4j workflow underscore tutorial. Okay, okay, so then I'll be going to write start date, what happened, start date equals to date time, and then after that it should be date time should be 2022, then maybe month is 2, and then maybe date is today's date 14. Okay, and then maybe I can write schedule interval. So schedule interval maybe daily. Okay, so this is done, and after that I have to give this thing the default arcs. Okay, so default arcs is here. Okay, I have already defined, so it should be default arcs equal to this default arcs. Okay, so default arcs, and then after that I can write as DAG. Okay, so my DAG is created, so maybe now it is a good time to just make this thing like this. Okay, here, and maybe I can make it a bit smaller. Okay, but it is very small now. Okay, what happened? I don't know what I did. Okay, but just hold on, I'm not sure why this is going. Okay, but I just want to okay, so maybe, yeah, I think this is good now. Okay, so now next thing will be that I have to create a task, and this time the task will be this Neo4j operator related task. Okay, so maybe I can write Neo4j underscore uh, operator underscore task equals to this Neo4j operator. Okay, like this. Then maybe I can write what is this Neo4j connection ID. So maybe I can write Neo4j connection ID, and now this is important thing. So this connection ID will be coming from here. So here means if I have to go there, you have to open this thing, and your connection ID will be available in this folder file. Okay, and in my case I already created a local mount. Oh, okay, okay, so this will be something like this. Okay, so maybe I can write task ID equals to like this. Okay, and then maybe I can write SQL equals to, I need to write a query, so maybe I can write create m maybe student, maybe I can write something like name equals to Okay, so maybe just something like this. Okay, okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go and create and this. So this is done. So what will happen, so this will try to get the connection object, a connection ID details from here. And why this is going to get this detail from here, cause in my CFG file, I have sent that my backend is actually coming from the local file system backend. And local file system means what will be the my connection path, my connection file path will be this one. So that is why everything is coming from here. So what will happen now, so first of all, let me let me open my database and check whether I have anything in my database in Neo4j or not. Okay, okay, so I have something, so let me delete this thing first. Match in, delete in. Okay, so everything is deleted. So maybe if I just double check this thing, so I have nothing now. Okay, okay, so I have nothing. And after that, in my localhost 8080, my workflow is not running. So let me just spin up the workflow. Docker hyphen compose. Okay, so it should be docker compose up. Okay, so actually my docker service is not running. So docker, let me in my docker actually, so that utility itself is not running. Okay, so to check here, it is something is happening. So yeah, so probably now if I execute this thing, still it is saying connection refused. Now it is saying connection refused. So error is different. Okay, so okay, so application has been started, but the Docker engine is itself is not running. So yes, so it's being started. So yeah, so yeah, now this should start working in few minutes of time. So meanwhile, I just keep on checking this thing. Still not running. Okay, 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 okay. So if you see here, it is installing this thing. See this line here. See, and this is actually being installed in the Docker container. Okay, not this machine. Okay, okay, okay. So many things are working. So still doing the installation of the Neo4j. Now it is now installing the Neo4j. Okay, so now it is spinning up the actual services. Redis started, DB host is started. Okay, so now I believe Airflow server, web server is coming. So soon this will come. Okay, yes, I believe now the web server has been started. So maybe if I just click on this thing, yes, hopefully this will come now. Yes, Okay, this is still running. This is checking so many things. Okay, so yes, so it's coming. So let me airflow. The user ID and password is airflow. Airflow. I didn't change anything in the Docker Compose file. Okay, so now if we check here, we'll able to find one DAG with this name. Neo4j workflow. Sorry, I have given a new wrong name. So I have given Neo something, like I messed up actually. Okay, so let's see. Uh, Search something with Neo. See, it is here. So first enable this thing. Okay, so now this will be available here. So this is the thing. So let me execute this thing. We'll see. So when I execute this thing, so what will happen, this will try to run this workflow, and inside the run flow we have this task, and this task actually going to execute this query. Okay, so what will happen, uh, right now here we have nothing, like zero records. So we'll able to get one like node with student label. Okay, so let's try this thing. Okay, so trigger. So let's refresh this thing. It's running, still running. Yeah, if you see here, it is saying success. It means it's completed. Okay, so this is a DAG ID, this is a run ID. So see, it is running this task. It's actually executed this task, and this task means this task. If you see here, this is a task ID. Okay, so if I click on this thing and if I go to the log, it will completely show everything. Okay, so see, I'm just running this task. Okay, so see, this is my URL bolt. It is picking up perfectly from my connection.json. Okay, and after that, if you check here, info making success return code, and this is actually executing this query. This line is also here. Okay, so let's run this thing now here, just to verify that we got something. Okay, see, I got this thing. Okay, see, I got this graph. Just to prove our point, maybe I can create one more thing. Maybe I can create Rahul. Okay, so hopefully if I execute this tag again, hopefully this should pick. Okay, so there will be one more student node created with name Rahul. Okay, so both are successful. So let me check whether it is actually picking up the latest query or not. Log. Yes, it is picked. It has been picked actually. So let me run this thing, so we'll get one more node here. So right, so I don't need to teach all these things. You guys are already expert in Neo4j. Okay, see, fine. So now if you see here, this is an interesting thing. Like here actually I'm doing some operation, I'm not getting anything results out from the query. So for getting something out of your Neo4j query or Neo4j database, you need to use hook. Okay, so for that thing, let me create one more DAGs. Okay, so for that thing, let me go here and create one more file. So maybe Neo4j hook tutorial. Okay, .py. Okay, so maybe I can do something. Let me just copy this whole thing. Okay, here, and maybe I can remove all these things. Okay, so I don't need this operator definitely. Okay, but I need two different things. I need hooks and I need Python operator. Okay, so maybe let's import our those two things. So it will be from airflow dot providers dot Neo4j. So I need the Python operators. So no, first I need the hook. Okay, so Neo4j then dot hooks dot Neo4j. What happened? So I need to import so Neo4j hook. I need this thing and I need this Python operator. Okay, so airflow dot providers. What happened? Why Python operator is not coming, not showing? From oh, I did a mistake. It should be operators. Dot Python operator import. Okay, so I have downloaded these two things. Now what will happen here? So this is done. So it should be Neo4j hook actually. Okay, so this will be Neo4j hook and I'll be going to do that thing now. So maybe I don't know this thing. So okay, just forget everything over here. So we have to create something different, not exactly whatever we did in the last time. So first of all, let me create a variable called Neo4j underscore hook. Okay, so hook, and it should be Neo4j hook, and this is going to contain a connection ID. Okay, so connection ID is nothing but this one, this connection ID. So connection ID, and this is going to be the same thing like we already know our connection ID. So if I go here, backend file, no, see here, this is our connection ID. So I have to copy this thing. Okay, so this is our connection ID. Okay, so that's it, we have created a hook. Okay, so now what will happen? Now we need to use the data actually. Okay, so data will be maybe I can do something. I'm just thinking how to do this thing. Okay, so let's do something. Let's cut this thing here. Let's create a Python operator. Def run hook. Run hook. Okay, so something like that. Something like that. Okay, data equals to Neo4j hook dot run, and in the run I'll be going to pass and query. Okay, so that query will be we'll try to return something. Okay, so maybe something like that, match n, the simple one of the most simplest query in Neo4j world, match n return n. That's it. We'll be going to run this thing and we'll try to print this thing over here. Okay, and print data. That's it. And here we'll be going to call this thing. So maybe I can write something like run hook. We'll be going to give the same name. It's going to be Python operator like this. So my task ID, right? Run hook, something like that. Yes, right, definitely. Task ID is run hook, and after that maybe I can write the Python callable. Python callable is also going to be run hook. Okay, so try to understand guys this thing. So I have created a Python callable, and which is a Python function, and inside the function actually I created an instance of our Neo4j hook, and which is actually basically referencing to this connection ID which is already defined in here with this username and password. And after that I'm going to execute this query against the hook, and after that I'm storing it inside a variable, and I'm just going to return this thing. Okay, so and here what is happening, this Python operator is getting called, and which is having a task ID, and this is interns calling this hook. Okay, so simple thing. So hopefully this will be available in our DAG now. So let's see in our DAG if I able to see this thing all. So some will be Neo4j hook, something will be there. So Neo4j workflow, Neo4j, no, that is not here actually. So for that purpose I need to basically the hook name is DAG name is Neo. Okay, it is already here, so I need to change this thing. Neo4j webhook tutorial, web workflow tutorial hook. So that's it. So hopefully this will now available here. So let's see. So maybe this should come here with a new name Neo4j. Maybe yes. If you see here, that name has been changed to Neo4j workflow tutorial. So let me just this thing here. So 3 is active. So this is our which one is our latest? This one is our latest tutorial, Neo4j workflow tutorial hook. So Neo4j workflow tutorial hook. So if I execute this thing, I'll get a I'll get a list of two different nodes. Student, one is with Ronnie, one Rahul, whatever we created. Let's execute this thing. Hopefully this will be as well successful. Yes, this is success. Let's create this thing. Let's click on this thing. So this is our task ID run hook. If I click on this thing, let me go to log and see what is happening here. So this is happening here. If you see here, this is happening. So this is connecting to this thing, and see info is this thing I'm getting written. So info means is a sprint actually, nothing else. Okay, so I'm getting the value. Okay, so just to prove my point, let's do something. Let's go to DAG. Let's create one more. Okay, one more. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully I will get one more node here with the Rahul name, so duplicate it. That's not a problem. So now I'll try to execute this thing. I'll get I will get 3 lists now. I will get list with 3 dictionaries now. Okay, so this is running. Okay, so basically I executed 2 times. All are successful. So click on this thing. Click on this thing. So run hook. So log, and I'll be able to see in the info. Let's go to info. See, I will get Ronnie, Rahul 2 times. Okay, so that's super easy, guys. I believe you guys are following everything absolutely fine. But the major problem is the documentation was not right. All this information, workflow, connection, JSON, and other stuffs were not properly mentioned. So that is why you guys are facing this problem. So don't worry, guys. I'll be going to upload this whole thing in my Neo4j GitHub repository, and you guys will be able to understand what is actually happening. Okay, so before I conclude this video, guys, please let me know how you guys are enjoying this series. Let me know via some sort of comment, feedback, whatever you feel free. Please do it. And also, it's a humble request, try to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and try to share our videos with your family and friend, and try to put some sort of comment so that it will help YouTube to rank our videos gradually towards uh, towards or for reaching our bigger audience goal, right? And this will also help us to motivate indirectly or directly, so that you can come back with some other interesting contents as well. Okay, and try to let us know if you guys are having any other use cases where you guys are facing problem, difficulties, or whatever. We'll try to incorporate all this thing in our upcoming series. Okay, so that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, goodbye, and have a nice day.